Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Parenthood, the podcast where real parents show up unfiltered and unhurried to talk about the beautiful, chaotic, tender, and sometimes bewildering experience of raising little humans while still figuring out who we are. I'm your host, Neha, and if you're new here, welcome. Pull up a chair, make yourself a cup of something warm, and stay a while. And if you've been with us before, you already know what this space is about honesty, nuance, the kind of conversations we don't always get to have in the school pickup line. Today's guest is someone I first encountered through a bookstore and got to know her a little deeper through a column she wrote, a piece about the reality of raising boys that was so honest that I immediately thought, I need to have this person on Parenthood. I am talking about Vaishali Shroff. She's an engineer turned award winning author, over 300 stories published across fiction and non-fiction in books, textbooks, magazines, newspapers, and digital media with publishers like Penguin, HarperCollins, Oxford University Press, Pratham Books, and more. Her books are on NCRT and CBSC lists. They've won awards in India and the US. They open conversations about Indian dinosaurs, dying languages, rivers, bodily autonomy, and history that most textbooks quietly skip. She writes, as she puts it, about unexplored places, untold histories, and unheard non humans. She is also a mother to two boys, and that is very much what we are here to talk about today. Vaishali, welcome to Parenthood. I am so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad we could do this after a lot of back and forth. But I'm so glad this was, when you asked me, I was like, okay, uh, you know, I've never gone, I've been on interviews earlier, but I've never gone as a parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do this. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. And I want to start the way I always do because I think how we describe ourselves, especially outside of our titles and roles, reveals just so much. So, if you had to describe yourself using just three words or phrases, the essence of who you are, what would they be?
I I think I'm just an ordinary person who believes that we live in an extraordinary world,
Yeah.
and a world where there's so much to be grateful for, and I wish more people would be grateful for what they have and uh, give back to this world, and so that it continues to be as extraordinary as it is.
Wow. Wow. So beautiful. And I love asking this one. So bear with me. If your life was a textbook or a storybook or a book, what would be its title? And more importantly, what chapter are you living currently?
Bapre. Okay. Gosh, I've given so many titles to stories that this is a hard one. I don't know. I don't know. I really can't think, but okay, if I have to write a book, um okay, that girl, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I've never thought of myself that way. I've never thought even, the of writing a memoir or
Hmm.
something about myself. Uh, I don't know. That 80s girl, maybe.
Yeah.
That 80s girl, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that 80s girl. And what was the second part of the question?
What chapter are you living right now?
Oh boy. I would still say I'm in the 80s. I'm so I'm so old school, I can't tell you. My kids will tell you how old school I am. But I like that. I like certain things. I like to uh, you know, uh it's hard for me to let go of certain things, especially things that are, intangible,
Mm-hmm.
and that you don't, or tangible also, like the other day I was just telling my son that one of the, like, when we're in the car and they just want to they want to get onto my Spotify or something like that, and I'm always listening to the radio, and
Yeah.
they're, Mama, please, they play the same songs, or they are songs that we've never heard, and I'm like, this is the only technology that we are still using from decades ago, and that has not changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you,
And I love and
yeah.
I love listening to the radio, although there was a song that video killed the radio star and
Mm.
all sorts, but still, radio is still radio. And I said, I want to listen to it as long as it's here. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
God knows, some other technology will take over the radio and we won't have it anymore, and just can't imagine life without the radio. So it's like that. I'm still in that chapter, but yeah, I do obviously moved with times, and and you the, because there's no way out, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got to move while holding on to what we can, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. I just love how you talk. It's so mesmerizing,
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
It's
God, my
beautiful.
husband should hear this.
You know, I think I'm saying this because I'm not your husband, you know.
Point noted. Yes.
Yeah. So on that note, tell us about your family. For listeners meeting you for the first time, who are the people in your world?
Oh wow. So I've been in Bombay all my life. I think my kids are the fourth generation in my
Wow.
family tree, born and raised in Bombay. And my husband, my parents, and my grandfather, we all went to the same junior college.
Wow.
So yeah, we are that you know so it's like, this is my motherland, my native place. Anybody ask me, it's Bombay. This is where we belong, and I love the city. uh, and in I live with my boys and my husband, who I've known for nearly 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, we are so bored, you can imagine. And yeah, but it's exciting. Growing up, I was like, it was the other way around in my family. It was my dad and the four of us, three sisters
Yeah.
and my mom. And
Yeah.
now it's the other way around. So, you know how I've never seen boys grow up,
Yeah.
I've had cousins, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very, very, very different ball game living just with, three men in the house. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. 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 I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure it is.
I have my parents, my sister, everybody's in Bombay. So I love that. Uh, you know, I can be with them, whenever I want to, and they can see each other. I think we had moved out of Bombay for some time, for
Yeah.
actually a decade after getting married because of work. We were in Pune, we were in Bangalore, but we kept coming closer back home because I grew up with my grandparents, and I wanted that time I had my firstborn, and when he was 5 we moved back for good to Bombay because I wanted that he grow with family around, because we didn't have any family in Pune or Bangalore. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so yeah I love that my kids have that connection, and
Yeah.
you know experiencing family, and is I think is a blessing uh,
Yeah.
for whoever gets to experience it.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about your husband. How did you find each other? And
Oh
how
my
has
God.
that relationship grown through all the years? Through love, through affection, through parenting, through boredom.
Wow, that's opening a big Pandora's box. Would you believe me, or would I sound too filmy if I say we met on the train? No, we did. We actually did. We were two strangers on a train. We were,
Wow.
it was my first day of my engineering college, and He was my senior. He was in his final year actually.
Uh-huh.
And yeah. So yeah, and so it was just, we just met casually, and then we're not even friends. And then very few people, uh, you know, travel by train from my station, and that's how we met. We met at the train station, and then in college, and yeah, then that's it. And then I think for 4 years he was in the US after he
Mm-hmm.
graduated. So we had a long distance relationship for 4 years, and then he moved back for good to be with family. And yeah, then we got married. I had graduated, I had already started working. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, yeah, that's very filmy indeed. You should
yeah.
write a memoir, you know. You
Oh,
said you haven't thought about it, but I would pay to read it.
you would? Okay,
Yeah.
the thought. I'm
Yeah.
a first reader. I will hold you to that.
Of course, you should, because I will. You know, now after, I mean, I wanted to come to that later, but let me just come to that right now because you have a permanent little reader in your book, Ari, in for your book, Ari, in My Little Son. And I like, we really cherish your words here at our home, and we read your books together, and it's just so heartening. I mean, of course, I had made the decision to call you on the podcast even before I realized that it was you who had written that book. Like, I hadn't made that connection yet.
Right.
And when I was and today while leaving for school, I was asking him, mama's recording with who? And he's like, auntie who has written Ari. And I was like, yeah. And I was asking him, what is the auntie's name? And he said, Vaishali auntie. And I was like,
Oh, how
okay.
sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, so I mean, of course, we will read it. We will read it together. I will ensure that my son reads it as well. So write that memoir.
I will. I will.
Okay.
Quickly. Inshallah.
Yeah. So tell me, now coming to your parenting journey, the beginning of your parenting journey, I know you've written honestly about the fact that parenthood didn't happen immediately after marriage, and that when it did, you weren't sure you were ready. Can you take us back to that?
Um, Parenting, I don't know. Do you know of any parent who was just absolutely ready to take on the job? Like these small things, and there are like squiggly and
Yeah.
difficult to hold, and you have to like take care of them when you are still looking at your parents to be looked after, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just I still feel, I mean, every single day, the first thing, I mean, I wake up, the thought that I wake up with, and the thought that I sleep with, is that it's there's such a huge responsibility, raising children. So I think more than I mean, we call it that, yeah, we are, I don't think I was ready, but it's just that fear of the unknown, and
Yeah.
right, it's and that fear of goofing up somewhere, making mistake that could cost and have a huge price to pay for it, uh, and that is something that constantly tells you that, second guess yourself and everything that you do in parenting, or rather than that I did initially. And I was absolutely alone when I had my first child. I was actually doing my MBA
Mm.
when I was expecting, and I used to sit every evening for 4 hours uh, in classroom with lectures on economics and finance and law and marketing, uh, and my son is just like that. He can talk about anything.
Wow.
And he and through my MBA, I delivered him also,
Wow.
and yeah, and then that's it. I had no parents or my in-laws in Pune. This was in Pune, and I it was just me. I was pretty much a Google mom, uh, Google for everything, and But and there's this one thing that I had read that uh, babies, newborn babies need to sleep for at least 20 hours. And I'm like, yes, 20 hours. That means I got 20 hours in the day when the baby's asleep. And I ensured everything that I ensured that he was asleep for 18 to 20 hours. And
Wow.
every time he slept, I would get to my writing, or I was, because I was already writing before I had a child. It was not
Mm.
that I became a children's writer because I became a mother or
Yeah.
anything. I was already writing for children. I was already writing for grown-ups uh, before that. And yeah, so I resigned uh, my job while doing my MBA.
Yeah.
Doing my MBA and having my job. And before I even knew that I was expecting, I had resigned. So, but I couldn't, I'd been working for nearly a decade, and, sitting at home doing nothing was not my thing. So I started consulting and doing what I used to do from home because I had built my network by then. So I was consulting and writing at the same time. And but I had never envisioned uh, a day when I would write to publish.
Yeah.
It never even crossed my mind actually that I would write. I could ever be published, or I should even consider that as an.
Mm. Mm.
So so yeah, that's how parenting began. I always ensured that something kept me sane,
Yeah.
you know all of that, because as I used to be absolutely alone in the house. My husband used to, every 2 3 months, he used to travel to the US for at least 3 weeks. So I used to be,
Wow.
I used to be absolutely alone with the baby. And so I was so I needed to have something that, you know keep me sane, and that was what I love to do best: work, work, work. And yeah, so it was the baby and work, and I had this mental switch. I would quickly switch from being a mom to being a professional, and yeah, that's what I've been doing for nearly 17 years now.
Wow. 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 And talk to me about the younger one. What was his arrival like?
Oh, his arrival. So obviously the first, okay, he may listen to this, so I will be very careful. It's the first, no. So obviously both pregnancies were very different, happened at very different times. I was way older. I mean, it happened after a huge gap of 6 years,
Yeah.
my second one. So when I had already like gone back to writing. I had started, I had published for children already, and I was just getting back on my feet in terms, and then, I was expecting again, and but that time I was so busy with my older one,
Mm.
that uh, I was just running around.
Yeah.
I was running around. I was just running around from his school to home, and to the clinic for my checkups, and everything happened in such a whirlwind that and he's actually like that. He's like such a doer, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, he's amazing. He's actually quite like me
Mm.
in a lot of ways. He loves to just do it. He won't tell you, he will do it. He's
Mm.
Yeah, and he's extremely sensitive. And so they are that, and that he was born in Bombay. Uh, Older one was
Yeah.
born in Pune.
Yeah.
And so he's always been with his, with family
Yeah.
around. And both are different, yet it's somewhere I feel they're alike as well, in some ways. Some, like, not not a whole lot, but yeah,
How are they with each other?
depends. Depends on a whole lot of things. uh, there's an age gap, right? So
Mm.
uh but the older one is quite patient because, he's in his teens. Because there is a young kid in the house, there's a lot of things that he can't do.
Yeah.
So it's not like a lot of his friends are just single kids or who have had older siblings. So, they've, they have they experience different kind of freedom, which he doesn't,
Mm.
whether it's, what kind of shows to watch, what kind of movies to go for, everything,
Yeah.
kind of languages used in the house, everything is, uh, you know, uh, depending on the youngest person in the family, right?
Yeah.
But they're great. I think my younger one uh, is already too old for his age, and they're great. Uh, uh, they'll both love photography, so they they go out for photography with the dad,
Oh,
and they love playing certain board games together. They love their PS, and they
yeah.
love reading. They both love reading. So
Wow.
sometimes, I have so many pictures of them. So it's like they both have their own rooms, but they still sleep together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was something by a lot of times I will hear, you from tonight you will be in your room and I will not come to your room, but it's never happened.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, it's uh they look out for each other a lot.
Mhm.
They don't snitch.
Mm.
You know, they are like pretty thick that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I always pray that it remains like that
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
because there is a huge age gap, and I keep telling the younger one that before the older one may be gone, so you
Yeah.
don't know. As much as I am also counting days, maybe uh, you know. So so now that day he was like he didn't have anything to say when I told him that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I think there's one thing that all parents should know, that our days with our children are always numbered.
yeah.
You don't know which number you're on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so my hugs are tighter now.
Oh.
What to do?
Oh, you're making me emotional.
Yeah, but that is, yeah, it's like that, right? I mean, eh, they'll um they'll go someday or the other. We left,
Yeah.
right? So, and they should, right? They should
Yeah.
experience this world on their own, and uh, but I always tell them it's your call. You whatever makes you happy, whatever rocks your boat, you got to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Vishali, tell me, is there a single memory, like, if I ask you very cliched kind of a question, that if you had to distill your entire parenting journey into a single memory, not a milestone, kind of, but something that tells you that, oh, now I'm a parent, or this is what it has been like, or I'm raising two boys. Is there something like that that you can think of?
um how there are so many things, right, that have happened because we've moved 3 cities and six houses,
Wow.
and
Mhm.
uh, this house where we're living in is we've been for the longest time now, before we move again.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think my fondest memories of being a parent uh, is is deeply connected with books. Um, even when my firstborn was growing up, and I like I said, I was absolutely alone,
Mm.
and I the first thing I did before I got any rattles or toys or anything was I got books. I got a bunch of books. I just looked up, I Googled, and I said, okay, which are the 10 books I should first get for and he was, and I got these books um, just after he was born.
Mm.
some books that I was already reading, my own books that I was already reading when, I was still carrying in. And every time I thought that, you know, I need help, I was to just pick the books and uh, sit next to him and read.
Hmm.
That's all I've done. I've I've been reading all day. I used to read till they fell asleep in the night. And I feel, as in hindsight, I think it used to calm me down more than it calmed them down. And it was almost like books were my go-to kind of people, and that's how I think my older one grew so fond of reading. I think by the age when he was 2.5, he used to take that big pile of books. He used to love carpets. So he would lie down, he was nicely put a pillow, you know, lay down and put all the books, stack them at arm's reach on one side. He was read one book, put it on the other side, and the whole stack would move there, and then again the stack would move the other side, and it would go on, and I would be like my friends used to say that no one can tell there's a baby in your house, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So and even the younger one, he's also such a reader, touch wood, and yeah, this is something I just hope they don't like I've seen with my older one that uh it's very, very hard to continue being the reader that you are. You, once you enter that ninth, 10th, and, those 3, 4 years, and if you can't, maintain, you really lose it. And then it's really hard getting back to it. And, I
Yeah.
was explaining to my son that, have you built a house of cards? You know, it's so hard to build it,
Hmm.
and it's so easy to
Just
it just collapsed without you doing anything, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I tell them, I said, this is something that we've nurtured over the years, and hold on to it, you won't regret it. Don't read as much as you. I know there's no time. Everything else takes precedence over
Yeah.
reading when you're at this age. uh, and I'm like, read a little bit,
Hmm.
as much
Yes.
as you can.
Yeah.
Pages, maybe a page, just
Yeah.
just but do it, you won't regret it. um, eh,
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
I
that
want to talk about the books, the work, because it's remarkable. So many stories, multiple awards, and a career that has never really paused, even through marriage and motherhood and everything in between. So, how does that actually function in daily life now, Vaishali? Where does the writing happen?
where or when.
Yeah. So, like, which pockets of time do you get to actually write?
Okay. um so it's been, like I said, earlier, I never stopped working, because it that's something that keeps me sane. My biggest nightmare is waking up to a day when I have nothing to write or no
Mm,
idea to write. Not saying that I don't have, a publishing contract or anything like that. Just that's far. I'm talking about just as a writer not having anything to write. It's
yeah.
just my biggest nightmare. And so I write every day as far as possible, or at least I think of writing, or you know, and I do a lot of research. I love doing research. So, as you must have seen from some of my works,
Yeah.
uh, so so today, if you say, I've got a crazy schedule in terms of not just, because I still do everything. I
Yeah.
wake up at 5. I pack a lot of tiffins. I cook, and just like so many other moms, I'm not doing anything special, honestly. Um, but my writing time sometimes is, uh, you know. hours are strange. Sometimes it's 3:30 in the morning. Sometimes it's
Mm.
4 in the morning because if I know there's something unfinished, I just don't get sleep.
Yeah.
Many of my author friends who know me well, they know that I just don't sleep well at all. And
Mm.
so I try to do some things before my routine with the family starts. And after that, once the family is out to office, to school, then I again put my author hat on and get on with whatever I can finish till again I have to make that switch and again pack tiffins and go for my pickup and drop duties and then yeah then I start again in the night. So
Mm.
there is a routine, but it's weird. uh, I try to be disciplined, but again it's very very weird. It's like this. I don't know if you've read it or heard about it, but the most popular and most often quoted dedication that any author has written in their book is a dedication is that they've dedicated the I dedicate this book to my wife and my children,
Mm.
without whom my book would have been completed 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
So there are so many times I find myself telling my husband that, give me 2, 3 days max, my book will be over. I just need to sit in one place, do nothing, no, don't not to answer any doorbells, not cook, don't go for any pick
Mm.
up and drop, and not think about school.
Yeah.
And and I think I'll be able to finish this easily in a few,
Yeah.
which sometimes takes months and years,
Yeah.
you know. And I listen to so many interviews of other authors, and especially many men, who say that, oh, they wake up in the morning, they go for their run, they come back, then they write because that's the most productive time of the day, and then they break for lunch, and then they again write till it's evening, and then they have their supper, and then they again write till they go to bed. Like, wow, what
What a life.
what a life. Just how do you do it? Maybe you have great partners
Yeah.
who look after everything else so that you have your meals and supper, and so you can keep this routine, or you
Yeah.
have somehow managed to have this well-oiled machine ready to give you that kind of routine. So it's
Yeah.
that's like a but it's I don't know how that feeds because a lot of these erratic schedules and things that happen through the day feed into the writing as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
I'm
feed
sure.
they
Yeah.
give uh you know they give me pause. I'm driving a lot through the day, so I use
Mm.
those times to think. I love doing a lot of these manual mechanical jobs just because I don't have to use too much brain, because that's something that I do day in and day out.
Yeah.
So that frees my mind to think about something else while doing
Mm.
that
Yeah.
job. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are complete
But
sense. Like, your
yeah,
muscle memory is so
yeah.
in tune.
So I'm just in auto mode. I'm doing my work, but so my mind is free to think of either my story or what I want to do next, or nothing at all, maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so I like to do it. A lot of times, my friends say, why don't you get some help? And why don't you get a cook? And you'll be able to write more. My parents tell me, my in-laws tell me, you must, my husband tells me, why don't you get more help? And I'm like, no, I love to do this because it actually gives me time to think.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because if somebody else is doing that work and I'm just sitting idle, I don't know, I may not write at all. I don't.
Yeah. That's wow. That's some food for thought. Yeah.
I crave for idle time. I crave for that kind of uh, you know, uh, peaceful hours where uninterrupted hours. But somewhere I love to, uh, you know, I think uh, Like I remember my kids telling me, Mama, every time we enter the house, then you remove your laptop and then you write.
Hmm.
I don't know. Somewhere I feel at most comfortable sometimes when I have the family around me and I'm doing my work, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I still, uh, like sometimes both my kids, at different times. My older one comes a little later in the night, because they're older, and my younger one is already asleep. And sometimes the younger one comes and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm writing my stuff, you do your stuff, and we quietly do our jobs, you
Yeah.
know. And I encourage them to not interrupt me, so that just to show that how you can switch off completely in an
Yeah.
environment and focus. um, I used to do that all the time. I used to study in noisy trains where there was barely place to sit. I used to sit in restaurants with my books open, do my assignments with a cup of tea before just heading to college. And so it's just I think it's a system. And I used to live in a small house with 8 people.
Hmm.
So I've grown up studying on staircases and terrace, and sitting up on the tank and rooftops, and finding whatever corners I could. And I think that I still, that kind of, my body is still tuned to that. I can tune in and tune out,
Yeah.
want to. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And this is something I've been wanting to ask you. I've come to now, since I first picked up Ari, because my son, as I told you, is a big
Yeah.
fan of that book. And I know that you've publicly credited your son Arinjay as the heart of the story.
Yeah.
And there's something so moving about a mother watching her child first struggle, then finding a story in it, and then kind of offering it back to the world. Are there other books or pieces of work where your boys have been the direct inspiration, consciously or not?
um yes, and yes, very few though. I have written a comic for Amar Chitra Katha, uh, where about this boy who's a reader, and uh, and how he takes his mom for a ride, because every
Wow.
time, and this is, I think, would probably resonate with every mom, that because on a holiday, you will probably think that it's a holiday, but we actually as mothers have more work to do when there are people in the house, than there on a weekday. So weekends are actually packed.
Yeah.
And these kids, weekend is a time when they get to pick their books and sit for prolonged hours and read. And this used to happen in the house. They used to just wake up in the morning, and I have this habit of, I mean, you can come to my house and you can easily trip on a book somewhere.
Yeah.
So there you'll see books at random places, and you'll think, oh God, this lady doesn't keep her house clean or something. But I deliberately just scatter books everywhere in the house. So the first thing when my kids, they come out of their room and they enter the living area, they see books, and they've not even, they've like half opened their eyes, and they still open a book and they're reading. But then I realized that what a big mistake I made, and I continue to make, is and they just don't get up. And I'm like constantly reminded, come on, just brush your teeth, you know, just have your milk or have your breakfast, go for a shower, and you have to finish your homework, or you have to go for your sports or whatever. And like, then they're just, it's like
Sitting
you
there
don't
with a book.
exist. It's like you don't exist. It's like you are absolutely inaudible or what, and they don't do anything. So it's about, and it's happened for so many years, and I'm like, okay, and then I turned that into a story. Uh, and there's one more story that's in the pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is where the character is a lot like my uh, younger one,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because
And
I
yeah.
cannot do more of Ari because he's had a lot of footage already.
Yeah.
And so yes, now I have to do something, otherwise, I'm that mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and but yeah, they do. My younger one is like my biggest fan. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
My he's my biggest fan, and my older one is my biggest critic. So I have both in the house. My younger one will be like, you've not written anything, you've not written anything. And I'm like, okay, let me finish it, then I'll send, otherwise you tell me, Mama, what this. And so I finish a story and tell him that, I've written something, would you like to read it? And he'll be like, leave it on that table, I'll read it. And he'll take my laptop, he'll read it. He'll close it, he will never say a word. Okay. And then he will say this, and I will not ask him, how did you like it or anything. So I'll be doing my stuff and he'll come, did you open and see your story? And I'm like, no, what happened? I said, did you even read it? I said, yeah, I read it. To see, no, open it, find out. So scroll to the bottom. Then he will have left some hearts and he read the
oh.
best story ever or something he will write. And this has to be published and or something, he will write something to make me feel better. I don't know whether or not he liked the story, whether or not any publisher writes likes it, he will love it and he will make sure I know that he loves it and he will write notes, for me
Oh.
that he likes it. So he's like that. My older one, I have to be tread very carefully when I give him anything to read because from the title till the last word, he will read every single word and he'll have something to say about every word that is there.
Wow.
Misplaced or what is this or in fact, I've written a movie, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had written a short movie, and that has been out uh, on dinosaurs, and then I have worked on a treatment of a full length feature film as well, okay, and obviously it's on dinosaurs, it's sci-fi, and none of my books, if you've seen any of my 50 books, none of them are close to sci-fi.
Yeah.
So mostly it's non-fiction or realistic fiction. And he read my story and he's like, Mama, this is not realistic fiction. They're talking about dinosaurs. How can you write this? I said, no, but stories can be like this, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you don't always have to. I mean, we've seen Spider-Man and Superman over the years, and how realistic they are all becoming. How more, how they are humanizing these superheroes, right? So I said, I'm not doing that, but this is my way of looking at such stories. So I'm like, you know what? This time, why don't you write and show it to me?
Wow.
You write it instead of any. And he said, Mama, you can do this, you can do that. I said, I don't want to listen to it. I'm not following what you're saying. You write it and show me. Write me a small paragraph. I don't want you to write, big pages, a lot, many pages. Just write me a synopsis of this story that you think it should be and give it to me. So he actually got to writing it and I said, email it to me. And when he emailed me and I read it, I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, I mean, I would have never thought like this. And then I ran it by my director and co-writer. And he's like, wow, Vaishali, what have you written? This is amazing. I said, no, this is not me. This is a renter. And I'm like, okay, wow. And I said, can we use this?
Hmm.
And, at least parts of it, or at least, somewhere weave
Yeah.
our storyline and the plot. And that's what we did. And we actually give him
Wow.
credits, have,
Wow.
the idea and concept by him. So because he is a reader of fantasy, he loves sci-fi and fantasy, so that's comes very naturally to him.
Hmm.
And as a child, I've always so nobody in my family ever read an English book,
Hmm.
and so my father knew that I like to read, but he didn't know what books to buy for me.
Yeah.
So I remember this one day he came home and he was so thrilled that he's like, Vaishali, I've got you 60 books. I said, from where did you get me 60 books? So he's like, no, I was at Churchgate and there was this auction,
Hmm.
60 books for 60 rupees. At
Wow.
that time it was so much for him and he actually got 60 books and he upturned the whole sack and those books tumbled out. And I'll tell you, not one book was a children's book. I was about 8, 9 or something. There was Tolstoy, and there was
Mm,
Guy de
mm.
Maupassant, and there was Jane Austen, and all these English authors that you can think of. And I'm like, oh dear Lord. But I actually started reading. I read War and Peace when I was 10.
Wow.
I read Guy de Maupassant short stories, which is, I think, where I fell in love with the format of short stories. Just love it. So so a lot of my fiction and non-fiction, even if they're longer works, they're compendiums of short stories because I just love that format, reading it and writing it.
Yeah.
And I've always read this kind of heavy realistic fiction. So that's where I think my writing also comes from, because
Yeah.
uh, you know, uh, that's what I've read. And so that's what comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, so yeah, it's great having them around, because I always have somebody to run it by. But I have to be very careful in what I do. And sometimes I don't even bother because both of them are not big into nonfiction.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sometimes they read, sometimes they don't, and I'm okay with that. They don't
Yeah.
have to subscribe to my book.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy
Well,
to get them books by all my other wonderful friends and other authors that are there who write the kind of books that they like to read.
yeah. Yeah. And you've said that your writing philosophy is to be honest to who you are and you write only about what you strongly feel. So tell me, has motherhood changed what you strongly feel about?
Um, I don't know if I should uh, pin that to
Mm,
motherhood,
yeah. Yeah.
but a lot of it, I would attribute it to motherhood, is that, like I said earlier, when we were speaking, that we are not only raising our children in an increasingly digital world, we are raising them in an increasingly unsafe world, and increasingly uh, dangerous world in terms that, of climatic catastrophes, and, uh, you know, there's a constant fear,
Yeah.
and there's this uncertainty. I mean, we growing up, we were so it was so simple. We used to say, what are the seasons in India, and we used to say, summer and rainy and winter, and and we knew exactly when the season switched, you know, and it rained for those certain months, and then it would, of course, never got cold in Bombay, but yeah, there was whatever winter we had, and then that little bit of spring, and then it was summer again. And uh, now it's not so. It's such a
Yeah.
uh, you know it's a very uncertain world, and again the fear of the unknown. So a lot of my writing comes from there as well. That uh, I this fear of losing
Yeah.
a lot that we have, and we've I think we've been a generation. We are a generation. Our children are a generation, where we have seen animals go extinct. We
Yeah.
have seen uh, uh, countries that are now post-glacial nations, you know. Recently, there is in Antarctica, there's this glacier which is now, uh, in the last 5 to 10 years, it's shrunk so much that it's going to disappear and go extinct. So we are seeing the decline of
Yeah.
so many things that should not decline, that should not leave, that should be around.
Yeah.
That and that is where I think and that's for our and I always feel that we messed up as a generation. Generations before us led the way, and we have caused the maximum. Our generation has caused the maximum amount of damage in this world. And we are, I mean, it's so bad that we are not even willing to reverse it,
Yeah.
though we know we can. And our children are bearing the consequences of our mistakes and our wrongdoings. And that is why somewhere I I strongly feel about stories that talk about holding on to what is remaining, conserving what we have, whether it is languages, whether it is river ecosystems, whether it is wildlife, or whatever I
Yeah.
can write about,
Yeah.
uh, because it's not grim. Actually, I don't look at
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
very grim stories, but uh, they're facts. You can't
Yeah.
escape them. And that is that's how I think we should be talking to children. We talk to them like things are happening around the world. There is no, there's no point in hiding facts from them, because textbooks still sugarcoat a lot of history.
Yeah.
Textbooks don't talk about a lot of histories, and I feel not not writing, so not telling children something is equivalent to lying to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, it does, being a parent has made me look at the world uh, you know differently, with a very different lens, with a
Yeah.
lens of a lot of care and uh, kindness, because I always tell my children that um, you have to stand up for whatever is wrong. There's and you have to be grateful for what you have, and you have to be kind. These are the only qualities that matter, I feel, in
Yeah.
in the large scheme of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to go somewhere a little more specific now, because I think it's a conversation that doesn't get had enough, with enough honesty. You're raising two boys in this world at this time. What does that actually feel like from the inside? What are you thinking about, worrying about, hoping for?
um in what sense? I mean, if you want me to talk about a certain aspect of raising boys, or uh,
Anything that you're like, how you navigate this world while raising two boys, and like, as opposed to, say, hypothetically raising girls, or however you want to answer that question.
come to think of it, I honestly, even though I was raised in a household just with girls, I wouldn't know how to raise a girl in that sense. I've
Yeah.
made, but but I take it upon myself to ensure that they look at everybody as equals. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my boys love to cook.
Wow.
Boys, you know, if they see me doing anything, they jump right in, uh, to to share the workload. I won't say help, because I don't use that word with them. I don't say help me.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you also do this with me? We divide work. Uh, the kind of language I use at home, very uh, or things that I'm very candid about the kind of problems I have as a woman, as who's growing older, and how I used to be when I was their age, and what kind of problems I had, uh, you know, making them more aware, or and more sensitive towards the other genders, and I think but, the more conversations I had with them, I think they're already there. This generation is very cool, I feel. They're not like us. I think we think too much.
Yeah.
And they're very uh like I was in one of my in my book Tatung Tatung, I was writing about the secret language of the Hijra community, about Hijra Farsi. And I wanted to run it by my older son, what he thinks about it, and does he understand what I've written. And when we were just talking, and I said, uh, the LGBTQ community, and he's like, oh, excuse me. It's LGBTQI
I
plus. Okay, like thank you for correcting me. And so they are, they are, they know they're aware, um, and and they look at it. It's part of their normal, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
great. I feel, because like I said, they have grown up in very different times. Times it's very difficult for us to comprehend. As much as we say, oh God, they're on their screen, or they spend too much time, uh, you know, on some gadget or the other, whether it's playing video games or whether it's just, watching reels and YouTube videos. And uh, we, I mean, no, they were not just born into a world which was already so tech heavy. COVID happened,
yeah,
and those 2, 3 years in India were like, that's all we had, right? That's all that was handed to them,
yeah,
phones and laptops and iPads.
yeah,
And that's how they, uh, you know, navigated those 2, 3 years. And then it's so difficult to, uh, you know, take that away.
yeah,
And not just that,
absolutely.
the system has not changed after COVID.
Mm,
Even though things went back to normal. I'll give you examples. For instance, when during COVID, uh, as parents, we were not just supposed to, get extra laptops and things for online school. We were supposed to get printers because we had to print all our notes and everything at home, right? We had to have a good printer at home. And before that, when my son was in school and there was no COVID and it was like regular offline school, everything was done in school. you
yeah,
know all sheets were given and everything. I don't remember printing anything at home except for some odd projects here and there. I still print for both. They have It's not gone back.
yeah,
When we earlier went for haircuts to a salon, we had those cloth aprons given to us. COVID happened and they started giving us those disposable ones.
disposable. Yeah,
They still give disposable ones,
yeah,
right? I um I recently went for a haircut, and I'm like, why don't we go back to that? He's like, ma'am, now nobody wants. Everybody is now worried that, what if that apron is not washed? What if it carries germs? And everybody is so concerned about hygiene that and all that nobody wants to go back. Everybody is so happy with disposables.
yeah,
Uh, so it's um so I lead I feel the only way to navigate and raise children, not be anybody,
yeah,
not just sons, daughters, anybody, is to lead by example.
yeah,
There is no other way to do this. And, whether it is trying to be as sustainable as possible, whether it is, we don't carry, I mean, my family knows how angry I will get if anybody ever has to buy a plastic bottle outside. They look at me and they're like, oh God, I don't know how mom's going to react. Okay. I mean, in emergencies is very different, but I even hold the hotels at ransom. Sometimes I call them and I'm like, why are they these? He's like, ma'am, that's complimentary. I said, no, I don't. Give me complimentary water. That's okay, but give me your regular glass jars or whatever or jugs or whatever, mugs, whatever you fill with your regular filtered water. I'm happy with that. And
yeah,
wherever we go, whether it's domestic, international, uh, ensure that we don't use. And so there are certain things now that's become like a rule in the house. So it's a normal in the
yeah,
house to not use anybody. Everybody by default carries their own bottle. We carry our own cutlery. So these are habits that you form, that you start young, I feel. Then it becomes a part of your growing up years, and then uh, you you even continue doing that in your adulthood.
yeah,
And maybe carry it forward in in your in their family tree.
Yeah.
um, but but yeah, you have to lead by example, whether it is to, because so many parents ask me, how do you get your child to read? Very this is one, the most frequently asked question.
Yeah.
How do I get my child to read? I'm like, do you read?
Hmm.
Do you read? Does anybody in your family read? You know, uh, Maybe newspaper, magazine, anything. It's not just uh, I remember my older son is obsessed with reading labels on packets. Okay,
Yeah.
I had to, so much so that I had to actually remove labels from certain foods so that he would actually eat and not be fixated on those labels. And we were watching Kaun Banega Crorepati, and he could answer one of the 1 crore questions because he had read that on one of the labels.
Wow. Wow.
That's what reading can do, friends. It can make you a crorepati. Not when you're sitting at home and watching, but yeah, it's that's that's how. And we were so excited, and we were like, "How did you answer this question?" He's like, "Remember that some bottle label? It was written on it, and you removed it. It was written on." Like, now I shall never remove labels. I shall store them. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's these are habits that you form when you're much younger,
Yeah.
stay with you, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. On that note, do you rely on books? Like, do you use books with your own boys in terms of, having when you want to have a difficult conversation with them, but you don't know what to say? So do you just hand them a book to read? Does that sort of happen?
uh I should say yes, no, yeah.
I was hoping you would say no.
no uh so yeah, I think beyond a certain age, you you have to be very tactful when you're doing that, because it
Yeah,
doesn't really work, let's be honest.
yeah,
So, uh like, there are some books that we really hold on to. We, as a family, in the sense, the three of us, we still love reading picture books.
mm-hmm.
Three of us, even my older son, my younger son, and uh RJ Palacio, he wrote uh which is that one? The
It's
Wonder one. Everyone is a Wonder. Oh God, how can I forget it? Okay, so he wrote the novel. Okay, and it's an amazing novel. We've all read it. And then he wrote a picture book of the same story,
yeah,
of Augie, the character.
yeah,
And the name of the picture book is We're All Wonders by R.J. Palacio.
yeah,
It's such a brilliant picture book. Uh, and in that book, it says so much that, it talks about just uh, that I'm a wonder, but not everybody can see that I'm a wonder, and only if people could see that I'm a wonder.
yeah.
And uh, I recommend it to everybody. I don't know how many people I've gifted it to, and that's a book. So it's like, I think when my boys are having a hard day, uh, especially the younger one, sometimes we just I tell him, okay, let's read something, and he's like, I know, Mama, which book you're going to pick up. And I said, yeah, let's start with it, then you will read whatever you want. And we read that, and then, and a lot of times, he, when he's upset or something, he just goes to his room, he closes the door, he picks up some books and reads. And I know that because, later when I enter the room, I see the books strewn around, and one of the books is We're All Wonders. uh, it just brings this sense of that, okay, that's a book that tells you that, we, what matters is who we are, and what
Yeah,
we, uh, you know, what people say doesn't matter.
yeah,
You know, people say a lot of things, And what matters is what we are from the inside, not from the outside.
Yeah.
And, uh, so yeah, we do read. We do read. We love reading together. My older one still crawls into my bed in the night with his book because I'm most nights I'm reading something till I fall asleep. And so he snuggles up, he reads. I love that, and I um when it doesn't happen, I miss it. So
Yeah.
the things that I really love about being a mother,
Yeah.
being able to do these things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And and for yourself, Vishali, do you do you get time for yourself? Like, how do you make room for yourself on an ordinary day?
Um, I don't know what you mean, but I feel for me, uh, writing is getting time to myself.
Hmm. Yeah.
Reading my like 10 half-finished books, being able to move further into those books is getting time to myself. Um, I I cut my hair short, like 14 inches short, because I thought they were taking too much of my time. Uh, and and yeah, so that's time. I love sometimes I just love watching my favorite TV show at lunch. So I look forward to my lunches.
Hmm.
And my lunchtime depends on, you know, which season of the show I'm on, in which episode I've left. But yeah, those are those rare days. So yeah, these are the three things I catch up on always: my books and my writing and my
Yeah.
that's my me time. I
Yeah.
don't do anything else.
Wow.
I really don't do anything else. I I have been with this school for 14, 15 years as a parent, and when I go for pickups, there are so many moms who have, formed a nice, lovely group, and they go out for lunches, and they for dinners and all, and I really don't. I'm I haven't that done that in the longest time. I don't think, if I don't know who to pick up you know pick up the phone and call also, because I've always just, whenever I've had the time, I've just sat and read or write, or maybe just visit my parents and spend some time with them. That's my world.
Yeah. 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 But do you miss that?
Going out.
Yeah,
Wow.
not having, as you said, it's very visceral, the image, and I feel it in my bones because I'm kind of the same way. And I'm starting my journey as a parent whose child is just starting school and just started school. And
Mm.
I find it so difficult to be in this, going to lunches or dinners together.
Oh, I will advise you. Please don't be like me. Don't.
Yeah.
Go out for those lunches. Go out
Yeah.
for those, girly night outs or whatever. It's important. I think it's very, very important to have girlfriends, to grow old with, who you can pick up the phone and call, because especially in a household like mine, I how far can you discuss your problems? Uh, and You need those girls, yeah, to
Yeah.
who you don't need to do too much explaining to, yeah,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
understand you, or sometimes just uh, so yeah, I would love to go out occasionally. uh, I do go out with my husband whenever we can, because now the kids are older. Otherwise we never went out, because we never left the kids alone.
Yeah.
So that was very rare. It still is very rare, uh, but yeah, I'm not a social butterfly, but once in a while I do would love to hang out with some friends. Unfortunately, what happened is, when I graduated, uh, I was one of the very, very few uh, students who stayed back in Bombay.
Hmm.
Most of
Hmm.
my friends right now are either in the US or in Europe, Australia, and so I see them whenever they come down, but yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
my bestest friend for the last 25, no more than that, maybe 30 years, 32 years is in Singapore. And I look forward to, I wait for her to come down. Uh, and so we can, just hang out. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's,
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
yeah.
you must let your hair down when you can. I don't have any left for it. But
And
yeah, it's important.
this is like so I'm thinking about the hair because I did that with my hair a few years back, a couple of years back. I was
Yes,
like that taking too much of my bandwidth
yes,
and too much of my
yes.
time, so I just chopped them off, and I did that myself. Like I just
Oh,
took the scissors and I
wow.
chopped them off.
I didn't have the guts to do that. So
And I think they look
great.
nice, yeah. But now I'm getting the urge to, grow them back again. But
I felt liberated.
oh yeah,
I
oh
felt
yeah,
absolutely liberated. I loved it. I loved it. And I just felt there was all that was so unnecessary,
yeah,
and so I haven't gone back to it. It's been what, 4.5, years now, uh, that I got rid of them. And I don't think I want to go back. Every now, once in a while, I do get some kind of FOMO.
yeah,
and uh, and a lot of times, in fact, we were on a recent trip last year to we were in Sweden, and uh, you know we were doing museums all day.
hmm,
Like morning to evening, we had decided, okay, we are going to do, da 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 museums. And everywhere we got bent to get tickets. And that, so it was my husband, myself, my boys, and a friend of ours. So the person at the counter would be like, okay, 2 adults and 3 kids, isn't it? 2 adults and I looked, because I looked exactly like my boys. We were, I had a hat on and short hair, and
yeah,
wearing with denims and t-shirt or whatever, and jacket, and exactly similar. And from behind you can't make out it. Like I
yeah.
just my boys from behind. So it's uh, it's funny though, and the kids also have a good laugh. It's like, Mama, please grow your hair now. And one of them will say, Mama, grow, and one of them will say, Mama, it's just chill. Like, but yeah, so
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. It's liberating. I hear what you're saying because once in a while I'll get that. Like since that, I used to have very long hair, like very long hair.
mm,
And once just I just went too short, like shorter than what you have on your head. Like I just chopped them off,
mm.
all of them. And since then, I've been going on and off. Like I grow them, I chop them when I want to. I get them chopped. Now I don't chop them myself, but
You're so
I,
unsure about this again, right? It's
yeah.
like every time I used to go for a haircut, and I used to tell them, I actually went till Bob at one point, and I told my Baba, stop. And he's like, man, what happened? आपने और short बोला था. नहीं 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 नहीं, बस I don't know कैसे लगेगा. And that one haircut was, I think, my funniest. It was so in between, like
Yeah.
my my I went home and they're like, what have you done? What were you trying to do with this? Look at you. And then I prayed every night. I must have oiled my hair every day, I think, just for them to grow back fast. And but yeah, this 4 years ago, this one thing, something inside me snapped,
Hmm.
and I said, and the I think the my Baba was like, they asked me like 10 times, ma'am, are you really sure? Are you really sure? You have such a traditional face. I said, what is a traditional face?
Yeah.
What is that? Are
Now
you
to
sure you got a,
now to I'm like, do
I
it.
said, yeah, I said, please cut it. I have no doubt. And I'm willing to bear the consequences, however I look. Please cut it. And I
Yeah.
had taken all pictures with me. I said, this is exactly how I want it. Cut it. It was
Yeah.
my birthday. And,
Wow.
and I said, this is it. I have to do it.
Wow.
Sometimes you have to, uh, I will write a book about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to, uh, you know, that it's like you get that calling, that like
Yeah.
that final calling, that no, this is it, it's high time now. And I have, this is a decision I've one decision I've not regretted at all, and I recommend to everybody, cut your hair short. It's great. Unless you just love, of course I loved my hair when it was long. It's not that I didn't love them, but now I love myself
Yeah.
more.
Oh, wow.
Not
Wow.
with
You
my
just
hair.
dropped like
Yeah.
the bomb there.
Yeah, I mean, that time you're just so fixated on the hair,
Yeah.
and it's like, what will people think about you? And,
Yeah.
is this hair going to look good with this outfit? And you're thinking like that. And now it's more about how I feel. I feel
Yeah.
great. No
Wow.
matter how I look, I feel great.
Mm. Yeah. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So, my last question for you today, Vaishali. One idea, one truth, one piece of yourself that you've already given away, but something other than that, if you want to leave our listeners with before you go.
Ooh, um, just be kind. That's all that matters. I feel we need to understand what being human feels like, because in a world where we are witnessing so much, uh,
Yeah.
I don't even have the right words to describe it. And uh, you, it is hard to realize that there is more good in this world than bad.
Yeah.
There is so much good in this world, unimaginable amount of good, amazing amount of, a number of great human beings around, because of whom this world is still holding up, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we need to believe more in the good. We need to be that good to others. And I think that's all that matters. And I think everything will fall in place. Everything falls in place when we're kind, right?
Yeah.
Just give you this one example. I was driving, and I was, when my signal was red, and the moment it turned green and I started driving, uh, the schoolgirl started to cross the road. Okay. And I stopped, and she looked at me, we had this eye contact, and I said, cross. She immediately crossed the road. And before I could start driving again, she turned around and she gave me this huge smile, and she waved out and she said, thank you. Okay. And I said, this girl is never going to forget.
Yeah.
This girl is always going to stop for somebody when she's behind the wheel
Yeah.
for somebody. And I think the little things we do go
Yeah.
a long way. And I'll never forget that girl.
Yeah.
I still remember her, and I'll always remember her.
Oh, you just
How
gave
she
me the
turned back, and
waves of goosebumps I'm having now.
yeah. So just be kind. I think we all need that. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Vaishali, this has been such a rich and generous conversation. What I'll carry from this is the way you hold complexity. I think it's just beautiful. Thank you for being here, for the
Yeah, I
honesty.
hope I answered your questions. I tried to stay on point, and I'm sure I digress a lot.
No, I think
So
that's
my
the point.
apologies for it,
The
because
questions are supposed to be just
yeah,
the inroads and they are not supposed to
yeah,
be the,
because they're tough questions.
oh,
Yeah, because you don't know where to stop,
yeah.
and you don't know what boundaries you cross when you're talking about this. But because it's such a personal journey, right? Your personal journey, you as being a mother, a partner, or it's something. These are things we just hold as our own,
Yeah.
unique experience. And so it's definitely, whether you share it or I share it or anybody, we're just giving a part of us
Yes.
out. And but I hope whoever listens to it doesn't get bored or
I'm sure they won't.
find
I'm
out
I'm sure
uh,
they will
the
have
doctor
women
is
rushing to
talking
salons, getting there.
for a haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, why not? You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you
Thank
for the
you.
books, especially Ari, which
Thank you.
clearly has a permanent home in at least one little reader's heart.
I've had that book had a, that book had a slow start for me because it was about this introvert child, for a lack of better words.
Yeah.
And I didn't offer any solution really in that book,
Yeah.
that the child did something
Yeah.
to get selected in the play in school. That would be
Yeah.
like a standard story,
Yeah.
right? How does a child overcome all obstacles and get selected to be in the school play, right?
Yeah.
That would have been, and actually somebody even reviewed my book, said that this doesn't offer, the child doesn't land up being in the play. How did he fight for himself, and how did he overcome? And
Hmm.
like that was not
The
uh,
point.
the point of the story. The point of the story was that to accept uh, who you are,
Yeah.
and make the best of what you can be.
Yeah.
That's how you empower yourself and
Yeah.
be the best, make the best of what resources you have and do the best you can. And, and the mother joining in,
Yes.
was, an act of accepting somebody the way they are.
Yeah.
And uh, so that was the whole point of the story. And,
Yeah.
and I think slowly I think that has been my most rewarding books of in on these 15 years or that I've been writing. I still get emails and messages, and now DMs on social media or wherever, that you know uh, I was this child.
Yeah.
Reading it gave me this, that I'm not alone, and
Hmm.
that it's not important to be on the stage really. Always you create your own stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm so happy about that book, and I'm always grateful to Tulika for publishing it. Uh, that book, I just emailed the manuscript to them, and I remember it was just uh, August or September or something like that, and in December on my birthday, I
Wow.
get an email from Tulika saying that here's the edited version of the manuscript. And I'm like, I had even forgotten that I had sent it to them. I said, when did they tell me that they're going to do it? I had this like like foggiest idea of what happened, but it was happening. And
Yeah.
it was already being illustrated. And I'm like, oh, wow. And it was just a few months after Raindrops was out. So,
Yeah.
like, two books with the same publisher in 1 year, that was like a dream come true. My first two books. And Uh, so yeah, I'm very, very, very grateful to, Tulika and Pratham for starting me on this journey of, children's writing, believing in my stories, and
Yeah.
making me believe that, I could write.
Oh, you could.
I don't know. At least I could, um, there that my stories are being understood, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and that I should write more.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
if not maybe not, I still when I write, I don't write to be published.
Hmm.
I still just write because I want to get that story out of my, and that story is within me and I want to put it out. And if it gets published, it's great. But
Yeah.
which is what I continuously tell parents, that who are today, so many parents are getting their children to write only to be published,
Hmm.
and I think that's not the right, that not right. I won't say right or wrong. Maybe that's not right. Maybe not. That's not the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
You need Writing is a journey and everybody's journey is very different, and you got to discover yourself. You got to discover the kind of stories you can write. You got to discover kind of worlds you can build, the characters that you can create, and you know that no uh, that cannot happen if you just write to be published, because then you're writing for others, you're not writing for yourself.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I,
Beautiful.
so it's like unsolicited advice.
No, but I think
Please, you
that's
know
so timely because I write, but I
yeah,
write for myself,
mhm,
and this just it hit. Sometimes you're like, oh, this person is coming out with a book, this person was with coming out with a book, should I try, things like that. But then I'm like, no, it will happen if it has to happen, when it has to happen, but
yes.
my writing should not be determined by
Correct.
that.
And I think you put it so well. Last year or last to last year, I had two stories that were published, which I wrote more than 14 years ago.
Wow.
One of them was a story that I used to have a friend of mine who was a novelist, and we used to work together in Bangalore. And he took this route, and I used to treat him like my mentor, and I used to just write whatever I feel, and he used to give me feedback on my writing. And that was one of those samples that I had written
Mm.
as just an experiment, and a prompt that I gave myself, and a word prompt I had given myself, and I wrote and I gave it to him. And 14 years later, I wrote it like a children's story, and it's published.
Wow, what is
One of
it
my,
called?
uh, it's called Remembering Amma.
Mm-hmm.
So the world was remembering, just about remembering, and how I had written. And in fact, that story was so serious back then, because that time I was not writing for children.
Yeah.
I was writing for grown-ups. I have more than 15 short stories that have been published for grown-ups before I got into writing for children.
Yeah.
And I tweaked the story and made it into this funny story about this grandmother, who makes everybody believe that she can't remember anything. And
Wow.
and and I tweaked it a little bit here and there, and to as for a picture book, uh, and it was out. One of my forthcoming titles is a story that I wrote more than 11 years ago.
Wow.
So you never know. So that's something I advise all aspiring writers, or anybody, that just write what comes to you naturally. Stories, those are the best kind of stories, you know. And they will. Every story comes with its own journey,
Yeah.
right? So many of my stories have been rejected multiple times, and before the some publisher said, yes, we love this, we're
Yeah.
gonna have it. And it's like, it was, you were just knocking up the wrong door. Maybe
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just didn't work for somebody. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes in that whole process, you start losing faith in your work, you start losing that confidence that you have in yourself, that maybe I'm not that good. And
Yeah.
I still go through that every single day, that feeling of self-doubt, that
Wow.
this is good enough.
Mm.
I before putting it out, I'm so scared. I'm so scared every
Mm.
time a book comes out. It's not even funny.
Mm.
Uh, I want to hide somewhere when my book comes out. I, I want, when I'm writing, I want everybody, like, I hope everybody reads it. Once it's out, I'm like, oh God, I hope nobody reads it. Just saying, uh, that whole thing of how how readers will react to what you've written. Or, of course, I've not attained that kind of nirvana yet. That it's okay. I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
Getting there, but I'm getting. Uh, it's that because I think that it comes from the space that I think um, I really wanted to give a voice to the story,
Yeah.
and I feel good that I had the opportunity, and God chose me to write this. I was walking out of a book event,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody came for book signing to me, and uh, she said, after I signed the book, she said to me, I didn't know her. These are her words. And she said, I think God has chosen you to write these stories.
Wow.
God picks people to write uh, stories he wants to share through these authors like you. And there's like he picked somebody else for something. They not he, they picked somebody uh, else for writing certain stories, and they picked you to write these stories. And I feel
Wow. Wow. That's so,
because yeah.
yeah.
So it's and I was like, okay, I couldn't process what she said that time. And I was after I left, I was, on my way home, and I was just thinking about her and what she said. And I'm like, wow, um, that's a lot. That's a lot, puts a lot of more pressure
Yeah.
when you're writing. But it, I guess, to every writer, if a story comes to you, write it because maybe you've been chosen
Yeah.
to write it.
Yeah.
And uh, like that, that'll be your best story. And I have an author friend, and we were just talking, and we are like totally opposites in the way we write. She loves to plot and write in this very scientific manner, and I just shoot in the dark. And and I I I let my story lead me,
Mm.
you know. And then she's like, you know what, there are after speaking to you, she's like, she tried to do that, and she's like, I feel that those are my best parts. That
Wow.
that I love. She's like, in the next one I'm writing, I'm not going to plot. I'm going to see how that goes.
Wow.
So it's plotting has, of course, it's great to plot. People who plot and write, they're so good with story structures and can't go wrong in those parameters. Uh, but there's this joy of discovering a story as it goes. Uh,
Yeah.
like you have to listen to Elif Shafak,
Oh,
her interviews, and how she speaks about just uh, how she, her book, There Are Rivers in the Sky, and how she wrote that, after a raindrop fell on her hand, and how she let that raindrop lead her into writing that mammoth
yeah.
book. So it's, yeah, I think everybody has their own journeys, and they're so beautiful. And acknowledging each other's journeys, respecting them for what they are, uh, is itself in itself so much learning, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
gosh,
Beautiful.
if you don't stop, I won't stop talking. So,
I am having so much fun. I'm having so much fun talking to you, but I am very, I am mindful of the time constraint as well. So we'll stop here for now.
sure.
And for our listeners, you can find Vaishali at vaishalishroff.in and on Instagram at Vaishali Writes. Please go find her books for your children and honestly for yourself. There's something in there for everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here and for being part of this community. Parenthood exists because you keep showing up and keep sharing these conversations with other parents who need to hear them. If today's episode meant something to you, share it with a friend, in a group, wherever a parent might need to find it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so you never miss a week. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.